She stood in the doorway of my office, rain-soaked and vulnerable in a way I'd never seen before. "Just one night, please," she whispered, her voice breaking. As her boss, I knew I should say no. As a single father, I had responsibilities that left no room for complications. As her friend, her best friend, I couldn't turn her away. Little did I know that saying yes would rewrite both our stories forever. If you're enjoying this journey already, take a second to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more stories that explore the complicated spaces between friendship, love, and life's unexpected turns. My name is Daniel Carter. At 34, I was drowning in the responsibilities of running my own architectural firm while raising my 8-year-old daughter, Lily, after her mother walked out on us 3 years ago. The divorce left me with trust issues deeper than the foundations we designed for skyscrapers. Romance wasn't just on the back burner, it wasn't even in the kitchen. Olivia Morgan had been my right hand at the firm for 5 years and my friend for nearly a decade before that. We met in college, both architecture students with big dreams and bigger coffee habits. She was brilliant, dedicated, and the only person besides my daughter who could make me laugh on my darkest days. She was also strictly off-limits in my mind. I had a rule about workplace relationships, especially after becoming her boss. That rainy Tuesday in November changed everything. I was working late, as usual. The babysitter had Lily covered, and I was buried in blueprints for our biggest project yet, a sustainable community center that could put our small firm on the map. The knock on my office door came just past 9. "Come in," I called, not looking up from my drafting table. The door creaked open, and there stood Olivia, mascara trailing down her cheeks, her normally perfect honey blonde hair plastered to her head, her blue eyes red-rimmed and swollen. I was on my feet instantly. "Liv? What happened?" She stepped inside, dripping water onto the hardwood floor. "They're tearing down my building. Giving everyone 30 days to vacate." Her voice was hollow. "Some developer bought it. The same day my car decided to die completely. And I just got the call that my dad's cancer is back." The universe had decided to hit her with everything at once. I guided her to the couch in the corner of my office, grabbing the throw blanket I kept there for late nights. "I can't go back there tonight, Dan. I can't sit alone in an apartment that's being ripped away from me too." She looked up, vulnerability etched across her face. "Just one night, please. I need a friend." As her boss, letting her stay at my place crossed professional boundaries. As a single father, introducing any complexity into Lily's life gave me pause. But as I looked at Olivia, my friend who had held me together through my divorce, who brought soup when Lily was sick, who never asked for anything, I couldn't say no. Of course, I heard myself saying, "You know Lily would love to see her aunt Liv anyway." The relief in her eyes made something shift inside me. Something I'd carefully avoided acknowledging for years. The drive home was quiet, raindrops racing each other down the windshield as I stole glances at Olivia. She'd been to my house countless times, for work dinners, birthday parties, movie nights with Lily. But tonight felt different. My modest 4-bedroom house sat on a quiet street lined with maple trees. As we pulled into the driveway, the porch light cast a warm glow that seemed to welcome us home. Mrs. Winters, my regular babysitter, raised an eyebrow when she saw Olivia but said nothing. After she left, I found Olivia standing in the hallway, looking at the photos lining the wall, Lily's school pictures, a few of the 3 of us at company picnics, one of Olivia and Lily making cookies last Christmas. "She's growing up so fast," Olivia whispered, touching the frame of Lily's most recent picture. "Too fast," I agreed, setting down my keys. "You know where the guest room is. I'll grab some dry clothes for you." Lily was already asleep, her night light casting star patterns across her ceiling. I stood in her doorway for a moment, watching her chest rise and fall, marveling at how she'd become the center of my universe. After my ex-wife, Rebecca, left us, claiming she wasn't cut out for motherhood. Lily became everything to me. Every decision I made, from expanding the business to which cereal to buy, revolved around her welfare. I found Olivia some sweatpants and an old college t-shirt, then knocked softly on the guest room door. "Come in," she called. She'd wrapped herself in the throw blanket from my office, sitting on the edge of the bed, looking small and lost, a stark contrast to the confident woman who commanded respect in client meetings and kept my chaotic schedule in order. I handed her the clothes. "They'll be huge on you, but they're dry." "Thank you." She took them, our fingers brushing. "Not just for the clothes. For everything. What are friends for?" I said, but the word friends suddenly felt insufficient. After she changed, we sat in my kitchen, drinking tea and talking about everything and nothing. About her father's treatment options. About the housing market. About the community center project. About how Lily was struggling with fractions. "Remember when we pulled that all-nighter for Professor Harmon's design competition?" she asked, smiling for the first time that night. "You were so wired on coffee you tried to convince me that triangular doorways were the future." I laughed. "And you were so sleep-deprived you actually agreed with me for about 10 minutes. We were a mess." She sipped her tea. "But we won that competition. We make a good team," I said softly. The silence that followed felt charged with something unspoken. I stood abruptly. "It's late. We both need sleep." She nodded, but neither of us moved. Finally, she rose, setting her mug in the sink. "Good night, Dan." "Good night, Liv." I listened to her footsteps retreating down the hallway, then dropped my head into my hands. One night. Just one night, and I was already feeling the foundations of everything I'd carefully built beginning to shift. Morning came with the chaotic energy that accompanies getting an 8-year-old ready for school. I'd forgotten to warn Lily about our overnight guest, so when she barreled into the kitchen in her mismatched pajamas and found Olivia making pancakes, her squeal of delight echoed through the house. "Aunt Liv. Are you having a sleepover?" Lily launched herself at Olivia, who caught her in a hug. "Just for last night, Lilipad," Olivia said, using her special nickname for my daughter. "My apartment needed a timeout." Lily nodded sagely. "Like when Dad sends me to my room to think about my actions?" Olivia laughed. "Something like that." I watched them from the doorway, struck by how natural they looked together. Olivia had always had a special bond with Lily, stepping in to provide a feminine presence without overstepping. She came to dance recitals and helped with science fair projects. She remembered what foods Lily hated and which stuffed animal needed to accompany her to the dentist. "Dad." Aunt Liv made pancakes shaped like stars. "And she put chocolate chips in them even though it's a school day." I raised an eyebrow at Olivia, who shrugged unapologetically. "Some days call for chocolate chip pancakes." "Can Aunt Liv stay again tonight?" Lily asked, chocolate smeared across her cheek. "Please, Daddy." I hesitated, looking at Olivia, who seemed equally uncertain. "We'll see, Lilipad," I said finally. "Aunt Liv has her own home." "But her apartment needs a timeout," Lily persisted. "And we have a whole empty bedroom that's sad because nobody sleeps in it." Kids and their irrefutable logic. "Let's just get you to school, Munchkin," I said, ruffling her hair. "Go brush your teeth. Those chocolate chips don't brush themselves." After Lily bounced away, I turned to Olivia. "Sorry about that. You know how she gets." Olivia smiled, but it didn't quite reach her eyes. "Don't apologize. I love her enthusiasm." She paused. "I should start apartment hunting today." "No rush," I heard myself saying. "Stay as long as you need." The words hung between us, weighted with possibility. One night turned into 2, then a week. We fell into a surprisingly comfortable routine. Olivia and I would drive to the office together after dropping Lily at school. In the evenings, the three of us would have dinner, help Lily with homework, then watch a show or play a board game before bedtime. After Lily was asleep, Olivia and I would often work side by side at the dining table, discussing projects, sketching ideas, occasionally sharing a bottle of wine. It was domestic. It was comfortable. It was dangerous. The community center project consumed our days. We were finalizing designs, meeting with contractors, addressing community feedback. Working so closely with Olivia, seeing her brilliance in action daily, made it increasingly difficult to maintain professional distance. Every time she leaned over my desk to point out a detail, every time she absently tucked her hair behind her ear while concentrating, I found myself distracted. 2 weeks into our arrangement, I was helping Lily with her bath when she dropped a bombshell in the casual way only children can. "Daddy, is Aunt Liv going to be my new mommy?" Water sloshed over the side of the tub as I nearly dropped the shampoo bottle. "What?" "No, honey. Aunt Liv is just staying with us for a little while because her apartment is having problems." Lily frowned, creating a beard of bubbles on her chin. "But you look at her like Prince Eric looks at Ariel." "I do not," I protested, feeling heat creep up my neck. "Yes, you do. And she looks at you like Belle looks at the beast when he gives her the library." Out of the mouths of babes. I hadn't realized we were so transparent, or that my daughter was such an astute observer of Disney romance dynamics. "Aunt Liv and I are friends, Lillipad. And she works for me, remember?" "So?" Lily shrugged, splashing water. Jasmine was a princess and Aladdin was poor, but they still got married. I couldn't argue with that airtight Disney logic. "Time to rinse your hair, Little Mermaid." Later that night, after Lily was asleep, I found Olivia on the back deck, wrapped in a blanket, staring at the stars. I handed her a glass of wine and sat beside her. "Apartment hunting going okay?" I asked, trying to sound casual. She sighed. "Nothing in my price range that doesn't look like a crime scene." She took a sip of wine. "I should be looking harder. We both know this arrangement can't continue forever." "Why not?" The question escaped before I could catch it. She turned to look at me, surprise evident in her expression. "Dan, I'm your employee. You're my boss. We're already skating on thin ice professionally. Is that the only reason?" I pressed, heart hammering. The silence stretched between us, taut with unspoken feelings. "No," she finally whispered. "It's not." I set my wine glass down carefully. "Liv, The sliding door opened, and Lily appeared in her unicorn pajamas, clutching her stuffed elephant. "I had a bad dream," she announced, rubbing her eyes. The moment shattered. Olivia immediately opened her arms, and Lily climbed into her lap, snuggling against her chest. "Want to tell us about it?" Olivia asked, stroking Lily's hair. As I watched them together, something crystallized in my chest, a certainty I'd been fighting for longer than I cared to admit. The next day at the office was tense with awareness. We moved around each other carefully, professional in front of the team but hyper-aware of each other's presence. During our project meeting, our hands brushed as we reached for the same blueprint, and the jolt that passed between us was noticed by at least 2 junior architects, judging by their exchanged glances. After everyone left for the day, Olivia lingered in my office doorway. "We should talk about last night." I nodded, gesturing to the chair across from my desk. "Close the door." She did, then sat, her posture rigid. "This is exactly why I need to find my own place, Dan. We're blurring lines that shouldn't be blurred. What if I want them blurred?" I leaned forward. "What if I'm tired of pretending I don't feel what I feel?" Her eyes widened. "Don't say things you can't take back." "I don't want to take it back." I stood, moving around the desk. "Liv, we've been dancing around this for years. Even Lily sees it. Lily? What did she say? I laughed softly. Apparently I look at you like Prince Eric looks at Ariel. A smile tugged at her lips. That's specific. She's 8. Disney is her frame of reference for all human emotion. I perched on the edge of my desk. But she's not wrong. Olivia stood, pacing the length of my office. This is complicated, Dan. I work for you. We have professional reputations to consider. And Lily, what if we try this and it doesn't work? She's already lost one woman in her life. Those are all valid concerns, I acknowledged. And if it were anyone else, they might be deal breakers. But it's you, Liv. You've been part of my life, part of Lily's life, for years. This isn't some impulse. This is inevitable. She stopped pacing, turning to face me. What exactly are you proposing? I don't know, I admitted. I just know I'm tired of pretending. One night turned into 2 weeks, and these have been the best 2 weeks Lily and I have had in years. Maybe that means something. Olivia stepped closer, close enough that I could smell her perfume, something floral with notes of vanilla. And professionally? We'll figure it out. Maybe you become a partner instead of an employee. Maybe we restructure. I don't know the details yet, but I know we're smart enough to solve that problem. She looked up at me, searching my face. And if it doesn't work? Then we'll handle it like the adults and friends we are. I reached out, tucking a strand of hair behind her ear. But what if it does work, Liv? What if this is our chance at something real? Her breath caught. For a moment, we stood frozen in possibility. Then her phone rang, shrill and insistent. She stepped back, pulling it from her pocket. Her face paled as she checked the screen. It's the hospital. My dad. Reality crashed back in. I nodded. Go. Take my car. She hesitated only a moment before grabbing the keys from my desk and rushing out. I sat heavily in my chair after she left, staring at the door. 1 step forward, 2 steps back. I didn't hear from Olivia for hours. I picked Lily up from her after-school program, made dinner, helped with homework, all while checking my phone obsessively. Finally, as I was tucking Lily in, a text came through. Asterisk dad stable. Pneumonia complicating the cancer treatments. Staying at hospital tonight. Sorry, asterisk. I texted back immediately, asterisk don't apologize. Is there anything you need? Anything I can do, asterisk. The response came quickly, asterisk you're already doing it. Just take care of Lily. I'll update tomorrow, asterisk. I stared at the screen, feeling helpless. Asterisk we're here for you. Both of us, asterisk. 3 dots appeared, disappeared, appeared again. Finally, asterisk I know. That means everything, asterisk. I slept poorly that night, the empty guest room across the hall a reminder of how quickly I'd grown accustomed to Olivia's presence in our home. Lily was subdued at breakfast, asking repeatedly when Aunt Liv would return. Her dad is sick, honey. She needs to take care of him right now. Lily nodded solemnly. Like you take care of me when I'm sick? Exactly. Is he going to get better? I hesitated. Olivia's father had been battling cancer for over a year. This recurrence, combined with pneumonia, wasn't good news. The doctors are doing everything they can. Lily seemed to accept this. Can we make him a card? And maybe cookies? Cookies make everything better. I smiled at her simple wisdom. That's a great idea, Lillipad. I dropped Lily at school, then headed to the office, where I found myself distracted and short-tempered. The team gave me a wide berth, clearly sensing my mood. I called the hospital around lunchtime, but they would only tell me that Richard Morgan was in stable condition. No visitors except immediate family. Late afternoon, as I was reviewing contractor bids, my office door opened. Olivia stood there, looking exhausted but determined. I was on my feet instantly. "Liv, how's your dad?" "Stable." She closed the door behind her. "They've got the pneumonia under control, but it set back his cancer treatment. Mom's with him now." She took a deep breath. "I need to take some time off." My heart sank, but I nodded. "Of course. Whatever you need. A month, maybe more. I need to help with his care, coordinate with doctors." She twisted her hands together. "And I need space. To think. About everything." The words hit like a physical blow. "I understand. Do you?" She looked at me, eyes bright with unshed tears. "Because I'm not sure I do. Everything is happening at once, Dan. My apartment, my dad, my car, us. It's overwhelming." I wanted to go to her, to pull her into my arms, but something in her posture warned me to keep my distance. "Take all the time you need. Your job will be waiting." I swallowed hard. "I'll be waiting." She nodded, blinking rapidly. "Lily made this for my dad." She held up a handmade card covered in glitter and drawings. "And apparently there are cookies too?" I smiled despite the ache in my chest. "She's convinced cookies have healing properties." She might be right. Olivia hesitated. "I should get my things from your house. Let me drive you." "Please." She agreed reluctantly, and the drive home was quiet, thick with unspoken words. At the house, Lily was still at her friend's birthday party with the sitter, giving Olivia space to gather her belongings without emotional complications. As she packed her bag, I leaned against the doorframe of the guest room. "You know, this room will always be available. For however long you need." She paused, folding a sweater with precise movements. "That's the problem, Dan. I don't know what I need right now. Except clarity. And you think distance will provide that?" "I hope so." She zipped the bag closed. "I care about you too much to make a mistake that could hurt all of us, you, me, Lily, even the firm." I stepped into the room. "What if the mistake is walking away?" She looked up at me, vulnerability evident in her expression. "What if the mistake is giving in to feelings during a crisis?" "I'm not exactly making rational decisions right now, Dan. My life is imploding from multiple directions." "So you're saying the timing is wrong?" "I'm saying I need to know that whatever this is between us isn't just circumstantial. That it's not just you being my friend and me being vulnerable and grateful." I couldn't argue with her logic, even as my heart rebelled against it. "1 month," I said finally. "Take 1 month. Focus on your dad, find a new apartment, get your car fixed. And then we talk, really talk, about what comes next." She nodded slowly. 1 month. Before she could step away, I reached for her hand. "But know this, what I feel isn't circumstantial, Liv. It's been building for years. I was just too stubborn, too scared, to acknowledge it." Her fingers tightened around mine. 1 month, she repeated, and then, before I could react, she rose on her tiptoes and pressed her lips to mine, brief, soft, and heartbreakingly gentle. "Take care of Lily." And then she was gone, the guest room empty once more. The next 4 weeks were an exercise in patience and distraction. I threw myself into the community center project, working longer hours than usual. Lily asked about Olivia daily at first, then less frequently as the weeks passed. We sent cards to the hospital, dropped off groceries for Olivia's mother, made care packages, anything to stay connected without intruding. Olivia texted occasionally with updates on her father's condition, which improved gradually. Her messages were friendly but guarded, never mentioning our almost conversation or that brief, tantalizing kiss. I respected her need for space, limiting my responses to supportive but undemanding replies. 27 days into our agreed-upon month, disaster struck at the community center site. A miscalculation in the foundation work led to a partial collapse of the eastern wall. No one was hurt, but the project was suddenly in jeopardy, and our firm's reputation along with it. I spent 3 sleepless days at the site, working with engineers, reassuring stakeholders, redesigning on the fly. By the time I stumbled home late Friday night, I was running on caffeine and adrenaline. Lily was already asleep, Mrs. Winters dozing on the couch. I paid her, sent her home, then collapsed at the kitchen table, head in my hands. The community center was salvageable, but we'd lost time and money, and confidence from the community board. My phone buzzed with a text. Expecting more bad news from the site manager, I almost didn't check it. When I did, I sat up straighter. Olivia, asterisk, just heard about the community center. How bad is it, asterisk? I typed back, asterisk, fixable but painful. Your month's not up yet. Don't worry about work, asterisk. Her response was immediate, asterisk, who said I'm worried about work? I'm worried about you, asterisk. Something warm unfurled in my chest. I hesitated, then typed, asterisk, it's been a rough few days. Could use your brain on this problem, asterisk. 3 dots appeared, disappeared, then, I'll be there in 20. I stared at the screen, heart suddenly racing. 20 minutes. After nearly a month apart, Olivia was coming here. Tonight. I looked down at my rumpled clothes, felt the stubble on my face, and made a mad dash for the shower. 19 minutes later, yes, I counted, the doorbell rang. I opened it to find Olivia standing on my porch, looking both nervous and determined. Her hair was longer than I remembered, and there were shadows under her eyes, but she was still the most beautiful sight I'd seen in weeks. Hi, I said, eloquently. Hi yourself. She shifted the portfolio under her arm. You look like you haven't slept in days. That's an accurate assessment. I stepped back to let her in. Thanks for coming. She moved past me into the house, and I caught the familiar scent of her perfume. I brought the original community center plans. Thought they might help with the redesign. Always prepared, always thinking ahead. It was one of the countless things I admired about her. We spread the plans across the dining table, and for the next few hours, we fell into our familiar rhythm, bouncing ideas off each other, sketching alternatives, problem-solving as the perfect team we'd always been professionally. By midnight, we had a viable solution that would minimize delays and additional costs. I leaned back in my chair, rubbing my eyes. This is why we work so well together. I couldn't have figured this out alone. Yes, you could have, she said, gathering up pencils. It just would have taken longer and involved more caffeine. I smiled, watching her organize our workspace. How's your dad? Her expression softened. Better. The new treatment is working. He's home now, with Mom hovering over his every move, which is driving him crazy in the best possible way. And the apartment hunt? Found a place. Small but nice. Moving in next weekend. She hesitated. And I bought a used car. Nothing fancy, but it runs. So you've put out all the fires, I observed. Most of them. She met my eyes. One is still, smoldering. The air between us seemed to thicken. Our month is almost up, I said quietly. 3 more days. She twisted a pencil between her fingers. I've been thinking. A lot. And? She took a deep breath. And I'm terrified, Dan. Terrified of ruining what we already have. Terrified of taking a chance and failing. Terrified of not taking a chance and regretting it forever. I reached across the table, gently taking the pencil from her fidgeting hands. I'm scared too. But I'm more scared of pretending I don't love you. The word hung between us, love. I hadn't planned to say it, but there it was, honest and unavoidable. Her eyes widened. Dan. I love you, Olivia. Not just as my friend. Not just as my colleague. I'm in love with you. Probably have been for years. The words tumbled out now, unstoppable. This past month without you has been empty. For both Lily and me. You belong here, with us. I know it's complicated. I know there are 1,000 reasons to be cautious. But there's one overwhelming reason not to be: we love each other. You're very sure about my feelings, she said, but her voice trembled. Am I wrong? She stood abruptly, pacing the length of the dining room. No. You're not wrong. She stopped, turning to face me. I love you too. I've loved you for so long I can't remember not loving you. But love isn't always enough, Dan. I stood too, closing the distance between us. Maybe not. But it's a hell of a good start. She looked up at me, conflict evident in her eyes. What about Lily? Lily adores you. She's been asking when you're coming home every day for a month. And work? The firm? We'll figure it out. Maybe you become a partner. Maybe we disclose to HR and establish boundaries. Maybe you take projects I don't oversee directly. And us? Her voice was barely above a whisper. What happens when we fight? When we disagree? When the honeymoon phase ends? I smiled, reaching up to cup her cheek. Then we do what we've always done: we talk it through, we find solutions, we compromise. We're already good at that part, Liv. She leaned into my touch, eyes closing briefly. One night, she murmured. I asked for one night, and somehow it changed everything. Sometimes one night is all it takes. I drew her closer. So what do you say, Olivia Morgan? Are you willing to risk it all on more than one night? Her answer came not in words but in action. She closed the remaining distance between us, her lips finding mine with certainty that hadn't been there in our first, hesitant kiss. This was a kiss of decision, of commitment, of coming home. When we finally broke apart, she smiled, the first real, unguarded smile I'd seen from her in months. Yes, she said simply. Yes to all of it. Epilogue, 6 months later. The ribbon-cutting ceremony for the completed community center was scheduled for 10 a.m., but I was up before dawn, too wired to sleep. Beside me, Olivia mumbled something incoherent and burrowed deeper under the covers. Too early, she protested when I kissed her forehead. The alarm doesn't go off for another hour. Nervous energy, I explained, slipping out of bed. I'll make coffee. In the kitchen, I found Lily already awake, attempting to make pancakes, Olivia's star-shaped specialty that had become a family tradition for important days. Daddy! I'm making celebration pancakes. Lily announced, proudly displaying a misshapen blob that bore little resemblance to a star. I see that, I said, trying not to laugh at the flour covering every surface, including my daughter's face. Need some help? Nope. It's a surprise for Mom. For the big ribbon day. Mom. The word still caught me off guard sometimes, not because it felt wrong, but because it felt so right. Lily had started calling Olivia Mom about a month after Olivia moved in permanently. It had happened naturally, without discussion or ceremony. One day it was Aunt Liv, and the next it was Mom. Neither Olivia nor I corrected her. It felt like the most natural progression in the world. We weren't married yet, though a small velvet box was hidden in my sock drawer, waiting for the right moment. After the chaos of the community center project settled down, perhaps. Or maybe tonight, after the ribbon cutting. Life had taught me that sometimes you had to seize the moment when it presented itself. Olivia appeared in the doorway, wrapped in her robe, hair delightfully mussed from sleep. What happened in here? Did a flower bomb explode? Mom! You ruined the surprise. Lily pouted, then immediately brightened. But look! I made star pancakes like you taught me. Olivia crossed the kitchen, carefully avoiding the worst of the flour spills, and examined Lily's creation. That is absolutely the most beautiful pancake I have ever seen, she declared with complete sincerity. The love that washed over me in that moment was almost painful in its intensity. This was my family, not the one I'd expected, not the one I'd planned, but the one that fit perfectly, as though it had always been meant to be. Later, as the three of us stood together at the ribbon-cutting ceremony, Olivia now my official partner in both business and life, I marveled at how much had changed in 6 short months. The community center, our vision made real, stood as a testament to what could be built when you took risks, when you trusted your heart, when you said yes to just one night. Lily squeezed my hand on one side and Olivia's on the other as the mayor prepared to cut the ribbon. We built this, she said proudly. Our family built this. And she was right, in more ways than one. If this story touched your heart, please take a moment to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more stories that explore life's unexpected turns and the courage it takes to embrace them. Remember that sometimes the greatest chapters of our lives begin with the smallest decisions, sometimes all it takes is one night to change everything.